Ask and you shall receive. I got a lot of comments about this thing, so here we are today. What I have here is the brand new Garmin Tactix 8. And a lot of you have requested for me to review this watch, even though I am not capable of reviewing this watch at all. If you don't know what the Tactix series is from Garmin, it's their rugged, do-it-all GPS sport watch, but it's also a tactical watch. It's designed for people in the military, law enforcement, or hiking or aviation, all of which things I do not do. However, there are a few select people out there like me that are interested in these watches simply because of their looks and their style. To preface this video before we get all the way into it, this is not a in-depth review or a review at all. I haven't even opened the box of this thing, so we're gonna do that on camera, take a look at it, talk about pricing, features, specs, all the things, and how it compares to something like the Garmin Fenix 8 here, because there are a lot of similarities. So as you can see here, we've got the Garmin Tactix 8 AMOLED Sapphire in the 51mm form factor. More on that in a minute, because now there's multiple sizes. And the box itself is pretty much identical to the last generation Tactix 7, which I have here, even though the box on this one was slightly bigger, and that's for a very particular reason, which I will talk about in a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing out of the box so we can actually take a look at it, because honestly, I hate unboxing videos. Let's just get to the point. Like I said, I have not seen this thing before, so this is gonna be the first time I'm seeing it along with you, and there she is. And that is a really nice looking watch. Wow. Get this thing all the way out of the box. Oh, this is kind of what I hoped the Garmin Fenix 8 would have looked like, but now we have it here on the Tactix 8. And we're gonna boot it up for the first time. We've got the Garmin logo there. And now we've got to jump into Garmin Connect so I can actually add this thing to my account and let this thing finish setting up. Now, while this sets up, I do want to give a huge shout out to the company that sent me this watch, and that was playbetter.com, and they've got some exciting news there over at Playbetter. They're like a channel partner. They've launched a brand new website that is dedicated to GPS watches and smartwatches and running and endurance sports gear. That new website is called trackbetter.com, sort of a sister site to playbetter.com. So if you're interested in picking one of these up, definitely check out the link in the description down below, where you can head over and grab one. You've got free 2-day shipping in the USA and a no hassle return policy. They're also just really nice people. We've been partnered up for a long time now. And there we go, we are all set. It's syncing all of my data from my other devices to the new watch, and it should be up and running in a minute. While that finishes its setup, let's take a look at the box here and open things up. We've got some paperwork, which I do not care about. And then on the other side, of course, we do get the proprietary Garmin charging cable. And that's all that's in the box. If you're a previous Garmin Tactix 7 user, like I have here, you might be wondering where the additional accessories are, because if you bought a Garmin Tactix 7, like this watch here, this watch actually came with an additional band in the box, and that band was this heavy-duty nylon band I have here. Now, this has gone away. Unfortunately, when you buy a brand new Tactix 8, you no longer get 2 bands in the box. For whatever reason, if you're in the USA, you will not get 2 bands in the box. However, if you are in Europe or other parts of the country, you may be getting 2 bands in the box. It's really gonna boil down to your specific region. Now, my opinion on this is kind of varied. I do like getting 2 bands in the box, but to be honest, this band, in my opinion, while it does look really cool, it's a little too thick and not stretchy at all for me, and it ended up not getting super accurate heart rate data from my Tactix 7, so this is something I just simply never used because of that. So like I said before, I've got the AMOLED Sapphire Tactix 8 here, and this is the model with applied ballistics, the ultralight solver. More on that in a minute. However, for the first time ever in the Tactix series lineup, Garmin is now offering 2 different sizes, just like they do on the Garmin Fenix 8 here. Instead of the Tactix 8 only being the 51mm or larger form factor, like on the older Tactix 7, now you can choose whether or not you want to have the big watch at 51mm in diameter or the smaller watch at 47mm in diameter, which is the Fenix 8 size I have here. However, that's not the end of the story when it comes to the pricing and options here, because there's additional versions in these 2 sizes. So if you opt for the 51mm form factor, you can get this in a solar model with an MIP display, just like on the Fenix 8. You can also get it with solar MIP display and Applied Ballistics Elite Edition, which is a more enhanced solver. More on that later in this video. However, if we jump over to the 47mm form factor, the smaller one, it only comes in an AMOLED version. You cannot get a solar model in the 47mm form factor. And on top of that, you also can't get that Elite version of Applied Ballistics. That is exclusive to the larger 51mm form factor. And when it comes to pricing on the new Tactix 8, get ready because it is pretty expensive. It's about $200 more than a Garmin Fenix 8 in an equivalent model and size. Another thing to note on the Tactix 8 is that all of the models come in this blacked out design, which I actually really like. It's kind of a combination of grays and blacks. So the bezel itself is this like DLC coated gray color. The body of the watch, the composite material in the middle there, is all black, and the back of the watch has that same sort of titanium coating as the front. And honestly, this color theme alone is probably gonna be enough for people to upgrade from the Garmin Fenix 8 series, because if you look around on the Fenix 8 and all of the colors available, they don't have like a simple black color. In terms of the design, the main difference between these watches when it comes to the Fenix 8 on the right and the Tactix 8 on the left, it really boils down to how they design the bezel. So on the Fenix 8, they've got this sort of tapered design. It's got these indentations around the perimeter. It's got the exposed screws. And as you can see, it is a really nice looking watch, don't get me wrong. But for whatever reason, I always preferred the flat bezel on these Tactix models. It's just completely flat, and it's got these little scribe marks in there. You know, it's just a design accent with the exposed screws, of course. And then if we flip the watch on its side here, it still has that sensor guard on the side here, which is a piece of metal. And then the buttons have this sort of knurled texture to them. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. So there's actually a texture you can feel with your finger, which I do appreciate compared to the sort of smooth buttons you get on the Fenix 8. Flipping the watch over here, you can see we do get the updated Gen 5 heart rate sensor on the Tactix 8, just like the Fenix 8. That means we do have improved accuracy, we have ECG technology, and skin temperature sensing. Of course, to the right of that is the same proprietary charging cable, and we do get quick fit bands, just like most of the other Garmins. That means I can pop this off very easily and swap it out with any color I want. Now, of course, because this is basically just a variant of the Fenix 8, if I double tap the top left button here, you'll notice that this watch also features a built-in flashlight. However, unlike the Fenix 8 models, the Tactix series always comes with a green light option. So if I scroll down here, you can see we have a green light here. And from what I gather, this is better for reading maps in the dark. I'm not really sure. I'm not in the military. I often don't read maps. I look at maps on my watch, but if you do read maps, I guess you'd appreciate this. Well, Garmin Fenix 8 gets a red light instead. And just like on the Fenix 8, you get the same voice commands built in. So if I hold the top right button here, it'll access the voice commands where I can do various things offline. I can set timers, I can start activities. And again, because this is a Garmin Fenix 8, essentially, this does have the same dive-proof rating. That means you can go scuba diving with this. It does have a depth sensor. It's rated to go underwater. The buttons are leak-proof. They don't actually perforate into the interior of the watch, so you can push these all you want at super deep depths without an issue. Another feature shared with the Fenix 8 is its ability to play back internal music. You can either control your phone's music, or you can access music stored directly on the watch, which I don't have any yet. This does support Spotify, Amazon Music, and a couple of others. There is 32 gigabytes of internal storage on this watch. So when it comes to features on this watch, yes, it is identical to a Garmin Fenix 8. There's really nothing new here, nothing new and exciting to talk about. However, there is one software feature that's different and new compared to a Fenix 8. If I dive into my activity settings here and tap activities, you'll see at the top here, I have a new Rucking activity. This is a brand new activity profile, and it's exclusive to the Tactix 8. The Rucking activity means you can basically walk around or hike with a weighted backpack. And you'll notice when you go to start that Rucking activity, it will actually ask me for my pack weight. And this will be recorded to the activity file after the fact. So if you go into Garmin Connect, you'll see the pack weight that you were carrying for that activity. And when it comes to battery life, guess what? Another shocker, it's the same as a Fenix 8 in its respective models. So if you have a 51mm AMOLED, it will be the same as a Fenix 8 at the same size. And if you go for the solar model, same across across the board as well. So I'm not going to bore you by reading through those specs. With all that being said, why would you spend $200 more for the Tactix 8 over the Fenix 8? Well, because it has a few extra features that are specific for tactical activities. So if I dive into my quick controls here, you'll see I have an option for stealth mode. If I click on that, you're going to see stealth mode is now on. What stealth mode will do is it deactivates the storage for my location, which is interesting because you can still use GPS activities and see your location, but your location will not be recorded to the watch. Another feature of stealth mode is that it sort of puts the watch into airplane mode. It turns off all wireless connectivity. Another unique feature to the Tactix 8 is that it does have aviation activity profiles. So if I dive into the aviation setting in my activities, you can see there's an option to fly. Now, if I enter that activity, I'll be able to see a little airplane on my map, see my location, my altitude, and all the information that you might need if you're a pilot. And on top of that, you can quickly navigate to nearby airports. The next tactical feature on the Tactix 8 is night vision mode. And as the name implies, it adjusts the display so that you can see it with night vision goggles on. So that will dim down the display really low, as you can see there, and it also turns it green. And this is so you don't blind yourself if you look at your watch while you're wearing night vision goggles. And if you do wear night vision goggles, I'm sure you'd appreciate this. Another exclusive feature to the Tactix series is Kill Switch. It's a very intimidating name. And as you can see here in the command menu, I have Kill Switch. And if I click on that, it's going to tell me that in 10 seconds, the kill switch will be engaged. I'm going to cancel that. What kill switch does is completely formats your watch. It completely securely erases everything on your watch so that if you're behind enemy lines, again, you're caught or something, and you don't want people knowing what you're up to, or maybe you come home late after a night out and you don't want your spouse or loved one knowing what you're doing, you can initiate kill switch. And of course, the final tactical feature on the Tactix model, and probably a big reason why people buy this watch, is the applied ballistics, as you can see here. Now, to use this, you do have to unlock it in the applied ballistics app on your phone. I haven't done that. I don't plan to do that. But the idea behind applied ballistics is for long range rifle shooting, where you need to calculate exactly where you're going to shoot depending on the conditions you're in. That's what you do with applied ballistics. Again, I'm not going to pretend like I know what I'm talking about here. Now, jumping back to what I said about options at the beginning of this video, there is actually two different versions of applied ballistics. The one I have here is the ultralight edition on this AMOLED model, but you can opt to pay more at the higher end at $1,599 for the Elite model. Now, the Elite model comes with Applied Ballistics Elite. And from what I understand, the major difference between ultralight and Elite Applied Ballistics is that on the Elite version, you can solve for shooting up to 5,500 yards, which is it's a really far distance when you think about it. At the end of the day, the Garmin Tactix 8 is really for two different people in two different camps. You're either going to be that super tactical person that's in the army or the military or in the Navy or a law enforcement or a hunter or a pilot, and that's where you'll be drawn to the features of the Tactix 8. Now, the other camp of people are people who are in the market for a Garmin Fenix 8, but they are unhappy with the design or color schemes available at the time of filming this video. And that's where the Tactix 8 steps in. It's got a simplified design, and honestly, I see no shame in spending a little bit more money to get a different look and feel a little bit more exclusive. But that's up to you and your wallet to decide. This is a very expensive watch. In either case, that was just a quick first look of the brand new Tactix 8 and what it looks like and my impressions after taking this thing out of the box. I'm just some guy on YouTube, and now's the point of the video where I want to hear from you in the comments down below. Are you interested in the brand new Garmin Tactix 8? Is this a watch you're willing to spend the money for? Are you just gonna skip it entirely and go for a Fenix 8 or a Fenix 7 in that case? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, after you leave that comment, I'd really appreciate it if you went down and gave me that big old thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more videos like this in the future, and check out all of the links in the description down below where you can head over to trackbetter.com and pick up your very own Tactix 8. And after you're done shopping down there, also check out all of my other links to my other social media accounts. There's my podcast, my Strava, my Instagram, my Threads account, and of course, my merch store where you can pick up a sweet Chase the Summit shirt like this. And with that, we've made it to the end of this quick video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Tactical.